What is up, guys? My name is Eli and I'm a full-time reseller on multiple online platforms. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're smart enough to know that there are profitable shoes out there that other resellers are passing on. Now, I've created a checklist filled with 5 key components that I use mentally every time I go down the shoe aisle and I determine whether or not I want to pick up a pair of shoes. These rules are going to guarantee that your pair of shoes is going to sell, and it's going to sell quick. 5 questions that I ask myself are: 1. What brand is it? 2. What type of shoe is it? 3. What is the style of shoe? 4. What is the condition the shoe is in? And 5, I like to call this the tier check. Okay, so here I have all of my shoes that I've recently picked up. Most of them are from thrift stores. So we're just going to start in order. And we're going to go over the five rules that I explained in the beginning of the video. So, what is the first rule when it comes to this pair of shoes? Well, the first rule is, what brand is it? The brand of these shoes is Keen. And Keen is a good brand to look out for. So it easily passes that rule. Now, rule number 2. What is the type of shoe? What kind of shoe is it? Well, it's a hiking/outdoor shoe. And this is a good shoe. This is a good type of shoe. The reason this is a good type of shoe is because people who use these type of shoes are outside a lot, meaning they're gonna need new shoes because they're gonna wear down faster. And that's why that is a good type of shoe to pick up. Now, does it pass the third rule? Well, the third rule is, what is the style? And this one is an easy pass because most outdoor shoes are not very style specific, and they're more built to allow for weather and different conditions. So they're not really a stylish looking shoe. So that easily passes that one. Now, number 4 is condition. I always look at the bottom of the shoes first, and I see if there's any sort of wear, and I determine if it's worth it. So looking at the bottom of these shoes, there's hardly any wear, so that's definitely worth it on the soles of these shoes. Now, looking at the top, I'll look at, let me get in some more lighting here. I'll look at, if there's any tears at all in it, and this shoe doesn't really appear to have any tears anywhere. And then I'll take a quick peek on the inside. And I'll make sure that the insoles are in there. And I'll look at I'll just look around the shoe and make sure it's in good condition. So it definitely marks out on that. So we have 4 or 5 rules that we've checked off on that pair of shoes. And the 5th one is what I call the tier check. Now, there's 3 main different tiers of shoes that I mentally have already categorized in my brain, and that's A tier, B tier, and C tier. Now, your A tiers are going to be your Jordans. Your Nike Air Jordans, your Nike Air Maxes, things that, typically sell for over $100. And Keen is what I would consider a B tier. These are shoes that are going to sell anywhere from the $30 to $50 range. And so these are B tier, which is acceptable to me. Most of my shoes, in fact, are what I call B tier shoes. And so that passes all of those 5 key components and rules. So I definitely picked these up, obviously. And so that passed all 5 of the rules, and that's why I picked up that pair of shoes. Now, the second pair of shoes here are pretty similar to the Keens, so I'm not going to go over these, but they pretty much follow the same rules as those. Now, here is a section. These are my Converses. I always pick up Converses if they're in good condition because they're a fast-selling brand. They're very trademarked. If people want to wear this style of shoe, they want Converse. They don't want the off-brand. So that's why they're fast-selling. Keep an eye out for high tops because high tops are definitely in right now. And so let's just go over the 5 rules on this shoe. So the brand, Converse, check. Style, high tops, check. What is the third one now? What's the type of shoe? Well, it's a fashion sneaker, check. What is the condition of the shoe? Well, looking at the bottom, there's not too much wear. There's a tiny bit of wear, but like you can see there, there's definitely wear there. But for me, it's good enough for the price. Converse to me also falls in the B tier range. Typically, Converse sell from anywhere from $15 to $35. So that would fall into the B tier category for me, and it passed all 5 of my rules, so I picked it up. Similar to these shoes, these are also Converse, and those all pass the 5 rules. So now let's show you some running shoes. Now these running shoes are in great condition. The brand is Asics. Asics is what I would consider between a B and C tier brand. So it's definitely the style on these is definitely gonna matter. So it passes the brand for me because it doesn't go quite to the C tier. It sticks around that B to C tier range. And the type of shoe is a running shoe. Always look out for running shoes because similarly to the outdoor / hiking shoes, they wear down fast and people are always buying new shoes when it comes to running shoes. So the type of shoe is definitely a pass on these as well. Now the condition on these shoes is excellent. You don't see a lot of wear. You don't see, like cracks in the rubber. You don't see tears in the fabric. So the overall condition on this is great, and so it passed that with ease. So those shoes check out for all the 5 rules. Now let's get into some Nike shoes here. Now when you're looking for Nike shoes, basically anything Nike Air is going to be worth picking up, and most people know that. But you still want to look at the condition of these, and to be honest, these shoes aren't in that great of condition. Now I didn't pick these up at a thrift store. I actually got these out of a storage unit. So if they were at a store, I would definitely pick them up if they were at the right price point, because the condition isn't that great. But if they were selling for probably $12 or less, I would pick them up, because I know I can get probably $30 to $40 for these shoes. Now Nike Air Max is going to be even better, because Nike Air Maxes, similarly to Jordans, they get a lot of views and a lot of likes very fast. So anything in men's upper sizes and even women's upper sizes is going to sell very quickly for Nike Air Max. So you don't even have to use the checklist necessarily for these. You can just look at the condition of these. These are A tier shoes. Nike Air Max falls into the A tier category. Now here's another pair of Nikes. Now these are Nike running shoes, and anytime I see a pair of Nike running shoes, unlike the Air Maxes, I go through the checklist in my head. So I look at the brand. Obviously it's Nike. Obviously that's a passable brand. Now going on to the second rule is the type of shoe. It's a running shoe, so just like the Asics, running shoes are always in demand. Number 3, what is the style of the shoe? Well, when it comes to Nike, they all have a style code underneath, and this is about the only type of shoe that I will look up in the store. I'll type in the style code and I'll see if it's a hot seller, and if it is, I'll go ahead and put a pass on that. So number 4, the fourth rule is the condition. These check off. And the 5th rule is the tier list. I would consider this a B tier shoe. It's not A tier because it's not Nike Air Max. It's just Nike, so it falls to me into the B tier category. Now let's look at some basketball shoes, some Nike basketball shoes. Now, the interesting thing about basketball shoes is people buy basketball shoes that are endorsed by an NBA player. So if you see a pair of like Nike basketball shoes, but it's similar to these, and you don't seem to have like a NBA player, it's not like a line like KD. If you see KD, that would mean Kevin Durant. If you see a rose symbol, that would be Derrick Rose. And those are the basketball shoes that you want to look out for when it comes to Nike basketball shoes, because people love to buy shoes when an NBA player has a line of them. Now, the reason I picked up these was because of the price point and the condition. The condition was awesome on these, and they were very, very inexpensive, so I knew I could flip them, even though they weren't like KD's or Derrick Rose's. They were just kind of generic basketball shoes. Another reason I picked these up is, if you can see here, it says Hyper Quickness. Now, Hyper Quickness is basically a budget line of a Nike basketball shoe called Hyper Dunks. And I always actually like to pick up like the budget line of bigger, like better lines, and that's because there's not a lot of listings on those, and there's a lot of families that are looking for similar shoes, but they're looking for the affordable line of them. So yeah, I might not be able to get $50 for these shoes, but they're gonna sell quick because there's people specifically looking for Hyper Dunk like shoes. They're looking for the Hyper Quickness, the lower end brand. So that's why I picked up those. Now these shoes, Kangaroo is a great brand to look out for. I consider them between a B and an A tier. The condition is great on these, and obviously the colors are just awesome on these, and that's another reason why I picked them up. And as you can see, for just $5, that's an easy pick up there. Now let's get on to Cleats. Now you might hear this from other resellers. Cleats used to be very, very profitable. It definitely depends on the season, and they definitely have become less profitable. This is because if you go to like a Walmart, you can actually find name brand cleats for a very, very, very affordable price, like $15. And that's why the price of reselling, or the profits for reselling cleats, has gone down. So you have to be very specific when you pick up a pair of cleats. I picked up these pair of cleats because the tongue caught my eye. You don't see a lot of NFL brand cleats. And you also don't see a lot of high top football cleats. It's kind of like a throwback thing. And any shoe that's a throwback style to me in an NFL, or like an official brand, I'm gonna pick that up, because I always pick those up because a lot of athletes love the throwback look when it comes to cleats. Now here's a different type of cleat. These are golf shoes. Golf shoes, unlike baseball, football, and soccer cleats, are still in. They're still, you can't just go to a Walmart and find a $5 pair of golf shoes that are Nike. So anytime you find Nike golf shoes, it's pretty much a given if the condition is right. Nike golf shoes are going to be some of your fastest selling shoes that you pick up. So always keep an eye out for those. Now moving on, when it comes to boots, I really only pick up Harley Davidson boots. And that's just because shipping boots is not necessarily the most enjoyable thing in the world, and they don't really fit my boxes well. However, Harley Davidson boots are something that you really shouldn't pass up because they can bring a lot of money. I paid up for these. I paid $15, but the condition is awesome. And anytime you find a pair of Harley Davidson biker boots, they're gonna bring a premium. They're gonna bring anywhere from, like, you know, you can get $40 to $80 for these shoes fairly quickly. And I do believe these are women's, which isn't gonna sell as well as men's. However, there is a lot of female bikers, and there is a very big market for their boots. Here's a pair of Met Harley Davidson, and these are actually the only pair of shoes in here that is in what I would consider poor condition. However, I picked these up because they're only $8, and they're a bigger size, and they're men's. And even in this condition, they're gonna bring quite a bit of money. So that's why I picked up those two pairs of boots right there. I don't typically pick up boots, but Harley Davidson is definitely a must. Now, the last pair of shoes I'm going to show you guys is a pair of Jordans. I saved this for last because, honestly, it's 2021 and the majority of people are going to know that Jordans bring a lot of money. When it comes to Jordans, there are some lines, believe it or not, that don't bring that $60 to $100 range. There are some lines, I should say, that aren't as good as others. However, if you can find a pair of Jordans for, to be honest, $20 or less, and they're not in terrible condition, like falling apart, they're gonna be worth picking up. And if you see these retro looking ones, I mean, these are gonna bring good money all day long, and that's why I save them for last, because most people already know that. So that is all the shoes that I'm going to show you guys today, and every single one of these pairs I did the 5-rule checklist in my head, and most of them I did not have to use eBay for, because using this 5-rule checklist allows me to determine whether or not it's profitable without even looking at sold comps. All of these shoes are a good brand. All of these shoes are a good style. All of these shoes are a good type of shoe. They're all shoes that people buy every single day. All of these shoes are in good condition, minus those, but they're Harley Davidson. That's the exception. They passed 4 out of the 5 of my rules. But with brands like Harley Davidson, you can do that. However, all of the rest of them pass the 5 rules, and that's why I picked them up. Now, a lot of resellers are going to pass up shoes like this. They're going to pass up the Converse. They're going to pass up the Asics, and this is because they're not huge money makers. But the key is consistency. The way I look at it is, if I can walk into a thrift store and walk out with 4 pairs of shoes that are average shoes, but I can make $10 to $15 each on each. I can make $10 to $15 on each pair of shoes. And honestly, if you have 4 pairs of shoes and you're making $15 each pair of shoes, well, that's $60. And it's the same thing as finding a pair of Jordans that you're gonna make $80 on that you paid $20 on. You're still making $60. So stay ahead of your competition and learn these B-tier shoes, because they're definitely profitable. So that's gonna wrap up today's video. Honestly, guys, learning shoes seems trickier than it is. If you just follow those 5 rules, you can very easily find pairs of shoes every time you go to a thrift store. If you like this video, leave a like, and if you have any suggestions of types of videos you want me to do, leave them in the comments, because I'm at a stage where I just don't know what type of content other resellers want to see. I know for sure I'm gonna make videos on going to thrift stores and going to rummage sales and show you the live action. I'm just not at a point right now where I'm sourcing. The next time I go out sourcing, I'll be sure to do that, but I have a lot to list as of right now, and I typically don't like to let my death pile build up too much. So yeah, leave a like and subscribe, and not sure what next video is going to be, but it's most likely going to be a thrift store live video. So thank you all so much for watching the video. It means a lot to me. This is the biggest passion in my life, is reselling and making videos about it. I'm going to continue to do that, I guess, until I get bored, which I don't see happening anytime soon. So peace, guys.